Hello and welcome to Cognitions, speaking the unspeakable with JP
and Stacy D.
I'm JP Craddock, and that is the one and only Stacy D Love. We are broadcasting here on KUAW Radio, which stands for Knowledge, Understanding,
and Wisdom.
Wisdom from the D. Okay, coming up on the show today, we have our question of the day, which is: my teenage nephew disclosed to me that he is gay. He also disclosed that he's in an unhealthy, abusive relationship with an adult male in his late 20s. Should I tell my brother and sister-in-law or keep his confidentiality as I promised to do? So we have that. Yeah.
Because I am a no-limit auntie.
Like, they can tell you anything.
I got you.
So you should have some good
Yes, I do. So that's the reason why I picked that. I forgot what I picked.
Okay, because I was like, how do you not know what you pick on? Wasn't but two options. Okay. So that's coming up in a little bit. Before we get to that, we're going to do our check-in. D. What's up with the D?
Nothing.
Tell us about Facebook. Facebook done got wild.
You guys, stay out of my DM. Stay out of it. I don't even respond. I don't even open them. I don't know you. Why you DMing?
Wait a minute, D. I don't know if you should be sending people away. Why are you doing that?
Because I'm cool. I'm just working on me.
Okay, but it doesn't hurt.
What's for me is going to be for me. It's going to come back to me. Right now, I am in a time of restart, recharge, redo, and re-energize. I'm in that season right now.
I need for those of you out there who have been sending messages to the D. I just want to be free
all summer long.
I need y'all to keep sending them messages to the D. Because she need to know what her options are.
I know I have options. But I just want to be free this summer. And maybe in the last quarter of the year, I'll settle down. Okay, so here go my check-in. Mr. Walker, who is our engineer for Speaking and Unspeakable with JP and Stacy D.
You need to move over some, D. Oh, that's perfect. Not too far. Where you going, D?
I mean, but he has me pretty big on here. What's that all about?
What are you about to say about the engineering? That's it?
Okay, no. We need to know when we're supposed to start.
Like that. That looks great.
We're needing to know when we're supposed to start, because I'm up in here fixing my wig. And I was going back, re-looking at some segments. And I was like, he didn't even tell us to start. And I'm up here fixing my wig. Flossing my teeth. Come on.
I got something to say.
We are really going to fire him.
That is partly your fault. Why have you not been watching the shows after we do the show? You've been doing wig checks for months.
Yeah, I found that out.
I thought you knew. I thought you was watching the shows.
Well, I have 5 doggone businesses I'm trying to run. I don't have no time to sleep. Actually, I haven't been sleeping. I've been taking a little medicine to make me sleep because it's getting bad.
I listen to the show when I'm in the car. That's when I'm
returning phone calls in the car.
One time, you almost snatched the wig off your head trying to adjust the thing.
Did I?
I said, the D's wig is about to fly off and hit the table.
Oh, wow.
And that would be funny.
that would be funny. And everyone, Dream is in the building today. Woo-woo.
Dream is
knocked out.
Yeah, Dream's chilling.
She's been up since 8. She haven't had her nap.
Okay. Is that your check-in for Mr. Walker to let you know when the show is starting so that you are not still adjusting your wig? I have been giving him verbal warnings, but today you're getting a write-up. Let me tell you, for those of you who have not seen it, go watch those episodes. It's hilarious.
I mean, I just got my hair due today. So it's on here real good and tight. But next week, because I get it done every other week, so next week it's going to be a little loose and I'm going to have to be.
One time you shifted forward and to the right. I said, she's doing a lot.
Wow.
Yeah. Y'all should check those out because it is funny. Okay, here's my check-in. I went to...
Hold on. I'm sorry. First of all, we need to give JP happy birthday. Happy birthday, JP. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Boy, if I could sing, I'd be bad. I'd be singing everybody out there.
You doing good?
I'd be singing everybody about their boxers. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday.
That was a Potty ending to the song.
I know how you love the Potty and the Janet.
I love me some Potty and Janet. Thank you, D.
No problem.
I ended up working all day on my birthday because I had just got back from Mexico the day before. And I left my baby and went to
Sasha's
Mexico.
hair was extremely pretty, too. I just really want to tell you that.
My sister
Combed it
took great care of my baby, but this is what happened.
That, though.
It was so rough. This was a rough. We was only gone for 4 days. Let me tell you how this started. We pack up all Sashi stuff to take. Nadine packed like a suitcase, 2 diaper bags, I think 2-3 bags of toys. Like, when she told me I needed to take her SUV to drop Sashi off, I should have got a little suspicious.
That was a hint right there.
That was a hint. When I opened the back of that SUV, I said, oh, my baby's never coming
back home.
Let me tell you, as I was leaving, Nadine starts crying. I'm looking at her like, woman, pull it together. On the way over there, I had to turn the music up because I wasn't regular crying. I'm talking full on, yes, like snot bubbles and tears.
And Sasha was in her car seat like
chilling. She didn't know. She did
humming
not
to
know.
music, humming to some Janet probably.
Oh, I woke up. Mariah is her favorite. I told you she's not into Janet does too much. You know, in Mariah's videos, Mariah kind of lays around.
Because Mariah can't dance.
Does the whole When I put on Janet, all that Janet be. My baby she's like, I'm overstimulated. Like Janet is doing
Rhythm
too much.
Nation, because she gets down on Rhythm Nation.
She can't handle all that Janet be doing. She loves Mariah, and she can reenact Mariah because Mariah ain't doing much. So she'll get on the stairs and swing like when Mariah's on the swing. Let her try to reenact Janet. We're gonna end up at urgent care. And so the next morning, our flight was leaving Friday morning. The next morning, I wake up in tears because she sleeps with us. And so I was like, where is my baby? While we was in Mexico, my sister was telling me the meltdowns was off the chain at night. Because she's like, where is
my mom and daddy?
And she didn't know I wasn't coming back because Nadine had packed so much stuff that I was unloading the car for a while. And so when I got done unloading the car, she thought I was coming back in and we was going to visit and she was going to go home, but I left. So she was saying to Steph, TT, where my daddy? And Steph was like, he's gone. My daddy not gone. Where my daddy? My daddy time to go bye-bye. Time to go. No, your daddy's gone. So she was having some meltdowns. It was difficult. And what I realized, when she's 3, she has only been away from us for 1 day. And the pandemic has exacerbated this because we are together all day, every day. Mm-hmm. And so 4 days was too long to be away. I should have went to Mexico, partied for the birthday. This is my frat brother's birthday, 50th birthday. I should have flew back home the next day.
No.
Oh, my passport issue was not an issue.
Well, thank you.
They let me all up in Mexico.
And as you see, he was able to come back home.
And they let me come back home. Traveling now is really complicated, though. tons of paperwork and forms you got to fill out on the plane and fill out in the airport and this and that. Is ridiculous. But here's what I was wondering. When this is about security and attachment, insecurity, security, and attachment. When a child has been with their parents every day for 3 years, with the exception of one day, and you leave and they don't understand that you're not coming back in the house immediately. Mm-hmm. My thoughts are, and I said this to Nadine, of course, she's like, you're overreacting. But I was like, we have probably shaken her sense of security in her attachment. Like, because she has always trusted us to be there, leaving and not coming back. And then her that night having a meltdown. Where are these two fools? Okay, that's how she. Where the hell are these two fools? And as the days went on, I'm wondering, how long is it going to take for her to trust us that when we leave, that we coming back?
Wow.
And so we may have.
So how she's been acting since you guys been back home, though?
Well, I was expecting her to be a little clingy. She's just been real excited. Lots of hugs, lots of kisses. We was in urgent care today. That's a whole nother embarrassing, ridiculous story. Me taking her to urgent care today. I'm gonna tell that in just a second. I need to stop being a regular at urgent care because they're like,
"Hey, Mr. Payne."
It's so bad.
Hey, Sasha, what's wrong with you today?
It's so bad. It's so bad that Sasha was like, about to see the doctor. I'm like, girl, you know where we at. We at urgent care. And so, but I was thinking like, okay, she might not trust us for a little bit. And her sense of security and her attachment might be a little shaken. Like, these people disappeared and I didn't know when they were coming back. And they was gone. For her, 4 days might have felt like 8-10 days.
So a long time.
So I'm reconsidering catching Janet at the Essence Music Festival, unless we can figure out a way to be gone just the weekend, like Friday to Sunday, because I'm like, it's too soon. It's probably too soon. I'm gonna see how she goes between now and then, but it's right around the corner. She might end up like, these fools keep living. Next thing I know, she's an adult who's got attachment disorder. She clinging to men like it don't make no sense. Unhealthy men, like the nut jobs from the, what was that dating app that we was messing around with?
Tinder.
Them kind of fools.
Well, I'm gonna have to agree on the side of Nadine. I think you're overreacting. Okay, let's move on.
I hope not, but I hope I am overreacting.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
in potty trainings,
we still potty training at 3 years old.
Yes, she is almost totally potty trained, but this is what it takes. It takes a full ritual. She's only using the potty because she likes the ritual leading up to it. Like, she says, "Daddy, I got to use a potty," and I lose it. Okay, I'm like jumping up and down. I'm grabbing her. I'm twirling her. I throw her up. No, I don't do that. But it's a full ritual, right? So
it's very entertaining for
one day, because she didn't use the potty at all while we was gone, because her TT and Uncle AJ, they did not do the ritual, because they was like, she did not say potty one time. I'm like, she says potty every 15 in her pamper, her pull-up, wet pull-ups all over the place. And so she's running me ragged though every 15 minutes. Daddy, potty, like she's happy to use it because of the ritual. Well,
but is she pottying when she go?
Oh yeah, immediately.
15 minutes?
She hasn't learned to hold her pee. She hasn't learned to hold it, and so she's just constantly urinating, because you know, at any moment if you go to the bathroom, you can probably use the bathroom. I need for her to learn to hold it, because every 15 I'm wore out from throwing her around every 15 minutes. But this is what happened. I'm throwing her around and swinging her, and we do the whole potty thing. And so afterwards, she says, "Look, Daddy," and one of her veins, I could see one of her veins. And I said, "Oh, Lord, I broke her." And so we had to go to urgent care. I did research like, is it a blood clot? What's wrong with my baby?
Okay, the same way you say do not go on Google about diagnosis of any type, okay? People,
I know. I'm
this
guilty.
is a public service announcement. Google is not your doctor or your therapist.
And I always tell and I mean it, when I tell y'all stay off of Google for diagnoses, I'm not playing with y'all. This was an exception. Because she's 3.
No.
So them people looked at me like I was a damn fool at urgent care today.
Exactly.
And so I was explaining. I said, "Listen, I just need to be sure that it's not a blood clot or anything like that." And they were like, "Look at your arm." Well, I looked at, well, yeah, I see mine. But I was like, I don't remember seeing that vein before. And so they were like, "Well, she's light." I said, "Why is only one showing? It ain't showing in the other arm. It ain't showing in the other arm."
Was it her left arm?
It was her right arm. And so they were saying it most likely was already there, but as she gets older, you're going to see more and more veins. Anyway, you didn't break her. So basically, I'm still going to have to slow down on the potty ritual, though, because I'm like, I ain't got time for that. So anyway.
So you went to urgent care.
For them to check for blood clots. Yeah. And
Was
so,
it bruised or anything?
This is what they told me. Blood clots would be, and I already knew this because I had looked it up, but there would be swelling, soreness. It would look real bad. Like
some bruising.
Yeah, like she would be, it would be more than just like, ooh, my vein has popped up.
Look, I bruise real easy, but I'm not up at urgent care.
And I bruise easy.
Exactly.
And so
she is a product of you, but she wasn't even bruised. Just her veins sort of stuck out a little bit, right?
Yes.
Okay. Moving on.
I need her vein to go
next?
back where it came from.
What's next?
Okay. So that's my check-in. Let's get to mental health and illness.
Public service announcement. Parents, please do not take your children to urgent care because their vein sticks out a little bit. Maybe you just haven't noticed it in a while or something. Okay?
Be gentle when you throw them around to get them to use the potty. Okay. Mental health and illness in the news.
Yeah, I know what we about to talk about.
Yes, the Buffalo shooter. I talked about this in grave detail on my podcast last night. I broke down the mental health aspects of it, the diagnoses, whether or not he could even attempt to do an insanity plea or a competency plea. I explained the difference between the two, yada, yada, yada. So I'm not going to go into all of that. Anybody who wants to catch all of that, check out the podcast, The Alpha Male Perspective. But what are your thoughts on it, D? He killed 10 people at a grocery store.
Yeah,
elderly people.
I'm tired of this. I'm really tired. I think it was like in the last 4 days that basically it was 3 hate crimes, wasn't it one? And that's what I get for not taking notes.
There was
one
another
in
one.
Buffalo. It was 3,
Yeah.
like in the past 7 days, I believe.
Yeah.
And both of them were hate crimes. I just really think that this is getting outrageous. I'm continue to pray that we, as a race, do not act as ignorant as they are. But let me tell you something. I'm going to stay ready for you. You come popping off and come on up in the Price Chopper off of Norco. I got something for you, point blank, period. But
you do need to stay ready.
You better stay ready. But, I don't think that it's right that there is not some, they have databases for everything. I mean, literally, the government have databases for everything. Like, I was able to pull some statistics about when I had my child in high school and how many different women graduated in 1984 and different things. So the government has statistics.
Wow.
They have everything. So you mean to tell me that they
They
didn't have
can't track crazy people.
exactly that they didn't have his, like when he went to get his mental health evaluation, his name wasn't in somewhere, so he couldn't go and get a gun?
Well, because he threatened to shoot somebody.
Exactly,
I think his senior year of high school. I think what probably happened is because he was a minor then, he wasn't in the database. I don't think they track minors.
Well, guess what? They need to, because minors grow up to be what?
Well, they don't even wait till they grow up. A lot of
Some
times
of them
they
don't.
shooting up schools. Like, they need to, because that is a crime that if you can try them as an adult, why are you not tracking and tracing them
And
like
they
they're an
need to.
adult?
And they need to.
Yeah, because he kind of slipped through some cracks. Because his crazy went back all the way like to high school a year or two before, and he out purchasing guns.
Actually, just 1 year.
Okay, so he's fresh off from being crazy in high school.
Yeah.
The crazy from high school was still turbulent and flowing through him.
Yeah. And and I was like, I was on the Good Morning America. I try not to watch that.
Really? Why?
It just be having too much stuff going on. Then I need to be doing work.
Good Morning America.
Yeah, they be having a whole lot of good stuff on there. And I just get caught up, and then I start watching the reel, and then when I look up, it's 11 o'clock and I haven't done anything.
Oh,
Because they have back-to-back stories.
okay.
Yeah.
I wake up, roll over, grab my phone, and start working without turning on the TV. But Robin Meade is my home girl. That's who I watch.
I like Robin too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so basically, look, I took a note because it got me so
Ooh,
upset.
the demon showed up at the studio.
Because I
with
got
a
mad
note.
because I was so mad listening.
Look at all these notes I got.
I just have to look on the phone. And that's another reason why I don't like watching no type of news. I just watch the Weather Channel. Because I get so upset and my spirit gets so upset and then I'm like, okay, I want to go on I want to protest.
Go out and do something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, so it's hard for me to control
Become a
that.
vigilante.
Yeah, for real. But basically, it was 8 mass shootings, 17 dead this weekend. That's what happened this weekend.
Wow. That's
what happened this weekend. And they were all hate crimes.
Oh my God.
On
That's the
African
state of
American.
this union. That is the state of America. Because, and I've said this before, after having a racist in office and being sanctioned and people being able to come out of the closet, I told you about all the people from high school who I never knew they were racist until now. They done came out of the closet like, ooh, we tired of hiding this.
Wait a minute, how you didn't know we went to a predominant white school? Get your life. Just
Our school
because
wasn't predominantly white.
Yes, they were too. Yes, it was too in the 80s.
Washington is
Yes,
like,
it was.
no, it was like 50-50.
No, it wasn't.
It was not predominant.
No, it wasn't. That was Sligo, not Washington.
All them black folks bust from down
Yes,
in town.
but they kept those
Me
numbers
included.
low. They kept those numbers low. They kept those numbers low. It was when you go back
gonna
and
look
look
it
at
up.
your senior picture.
We gonna go-
and
we
you
gonna
will
have to look
see
it
our
up.
senior picture, and you be like, oh, whoa, yeah, real talk. Because we were actually talking about that when we had a meeting. It was Sligo was 50-50. Wyandotte was 90-10. Harmon is
Still is.
Harmon is Sumner, but Washington was a predominant white school. And it
Okay.
was-
Well, I didn't really remember it being. I did not remember having race
you know
issues
why?
in Washington. I didn't. Me personally, I did not have race issues in school. Now, of course, Kelly would joke and say, "Because you wasn't never there." But when I was there, I do not recall having those problems. But the racism, it's kind of come out. We've talked about the two different types of racists.
Almost definitely
The
have.
ignorant racist and the evil malicious racist. What is coming out is more so the ignorant racist, but it's not total ignorance because they knew to hide it for so many years.
So many years.
And now it's coming out like, okay, it's okay to express this. Well, what you're expressing is racist. Who you calling a racist? I'm calling you a racist. You're a racist. And so them kind of things, it's ridiculous. But the climate, racism has always been here. Let's not be ridiculous and act like it wasn't here.
Since we came to the land, since everyone came to the land.
Right. What has changed is we're going through a period of time right now where people feel like I do not have to hide it. And I'm saying a period of time because I don't think it's always going to be like this. I'm not saying I think racism's ever going to go away, but I do think we will go back to the previous climate where, okay, people were not trying to beat you over the head with their racism.
Because basically what they're doing is the same thing that they've been doing to us all the time. Instead of putting us up on trees, they're just coming up into our churches, our main grocery stores, and they're still attacking us and trying to get us. Yeah. And I just really believe that we all know how my political views are, but I most definitely believe that we need to have harder gun regulations, most definitely.
Yeah, we talked about that on the podcast last night. The debate was, are the gun regulations really slowing down the dangerous people, or is it just making it more difficult for responsible people to get their guns? Because the irresponsible people, they gonna get their guns on the streets or here or there. But you can't not have these regulations just because people are going to find a way around them. So they do still need to be in place. And with this 18-year-old, those regulations, he would not have been able to just outright legally buy the weapons that he bought if the regulations would have been in place. Now, the question, would he have found another way to get them?
I'm sure he would have. He probably would have.
Yeah, I mean.
But he bought the gun legally. But then he went in and did some other things to it that made the gun illegal.
Oh, okay. So he made
I got really mad at this alterations. Because, I don't even have time to be doing any research. But this really pissed me off. And
I'm glad you decided to do research for this show.
Just a little bit. And then I had to stop because I started getting upset. No, it really gets me upset. It just
8 shootings is a lot.
Yes, in a weekend.
Yeah, and I wasn't here. So it was a bit of a shock to get back to the U.S. on Monday, and it's like, what happened? What are they talking about? What? So, yeah, that was crazy. 8
mass shootings, hate crimes.
So it is out of control right now.
And I just also want to say something, because now I got on the news. Okay, I'm turning the TV off. But they did not do anything to this young man in Buffalo. But in our Kansas City area, 4 black teens killed a 19-year-old. They're saying that it was a drug deal gone bad. And they are trying to trial these 14-year-olds as adults. But on the other counter end, y'all just let the other things just okay, he didn't kill anyone yet. So okay, we're gonna screen you out. Bye-bye now.
Yeah, they need to be careful about who they're screening out, because those people circle back around and they're dangerous.
And they need to be kept in a database.
Yeah.
He was in a database. They just didn't pay attention to his database.
Well, he was all over social media on several different types of pages, which is shocking because
the CIA and the FBI is on everyone's Facebook pages.
We get screened out for trying to post shows where we were just talking about COVID. So you screening us out, but you got lunatics on there spouting out all of their racist rhetoric.
Just hatred.
But we getting screened out. We getting censored for talking about COVID. The stupidity.
Let's go.
Okay.
Next.
Question of the day. My teenage nephew disclosed to me that he is gay. He also disclosed that he's in an unhealthy, abusive relationship with an adult male in his late 20s. Should I tell my brother and sister-in-law or keep his confidentiality as I promised to do? This is really a two-part situation, because if he had just disclosed that he was gay, my immediate answer would be, well, why would you disclose that to the parents? Like, he told you that in confidence. There's no need to breach his confidentiality and tell his parents that he's gay. You can be supportive to him and help him through it and help him with the process of coming out to the parents, but there wouldn't be a need to tell. This is complicated by what is
don't seem that complicated.
A little bit of statutory rape. Like,
no,
he's in an unhealthy relationship.
But how old
with
is
an
your
adult.
nephew?
Well, it doesn't say.
See,
but it doesn't matter.
JP, I always leave out those good details.
He's a teenager. It doesn't matter. He's a teenager, and the man is in his late 20s.
But he could be 18
as a
19.
former sex offender therapist, well, it wouldn't be an issue because it would be an adult. It says he disclosed that he's in an unhealthy, abusive relationship with an adult male. So if he was an adult, they wouldn't reference that the male is an adult. This is a kid.
Okay.
And when it's an unhealthy relationship and it's with an adult, that is a problem. That does put you in a position where it's like, oh man, I promised. This is the mistake that people make. When kids come to you and say, promise me you ain't gonna tell nobody what I'm about to tell you. And people promise.
No, you
and
need
then,
to have a disclosure.
And then they find out, and then they're like, ooh, we need to talk about that promise I made. I probably shouldn't have promised you. I wouldn't. And then you have betrayed the trust. And so when kids come to you and say, I'm going to tell you something, but you have to promise, you have to swear you won't tell anybody. Because sometimes they'll tell you they're suicidal. And you cannot keep that promise. And so what you have to do is say, well, listen, I can promise that I will keep your confidentiality so long as you are not in danger. If you are in danger, what we're going to have to do, I'm going to support you, and we're going to have to figure out a way to do problem solving and to keep you safe, which may quite possibly, will most likely mean talking to someone. Do not promise to keep something a secret before you know what it is.
I agree.
Because people have done that for ages. Like, I promise, and then a bomb gets dropped on them. So, D, what are your thoughts on this? Because I have three points on this.
Okay, well, the D's point of view may not be the right point of view.
Okay, what are you gonna say?
Okay, if it's my nephew, I'm gonna totally listen to him. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. My nieces and nephews, nephews, and grandchildren, they all understand that Auntie Honey do not play. So they already know it's about to be some, what they call that? It's about to be some heat in the kitchen.
Oh, heat in the kitchen. Okay, yes.
It's gonna be some heat in the kitchen. So when they tell me, they already know that I am going to react. Number one, if they're a youngster and they doing this, I'm gonna hotline them, and you're gonna give me all the information. Once again, they
it's
know
time to hotline. The D said it's time to hotline.
Oh yeah, I know, because I'm not the hotline queen, but I will.
Well, you are a mandated reporter.
I am a mandated reporter, so I'm gonna hotline you, and you're gonna give me all the information. Then guess what the D gonna do? Ding dong, ding dong.
To the parents.
Nah, I ain't even went to the parents.
To the grown man.
To the grown man
who's taking advantage of
advantage of my nephew, my blood.
Right.
How you doing? My name is Stacy Head. Check my dossier. What you about to do is about to leave my nephew alone, unless you want to have problems with me. Once again, check my dossier.
So you would basically eliminate the problem so that you wouldn't have to tell the parents.
And I'm not telling the parents, because guess what? My promise was that I'm not going to tell your parents. But you already know I'm going to handle it. That's why you're coming to me, because you're coming to me because you want
You want it handled.
You want it handled.
Want it handled.
And I'm going to handle it.
She going to handle it.
And when I ring the doorbell, I'm going to have my badge, because y'all know I have a badge. Because I am an officer of the state.
Officer of the court.
Yes, officer of the court or for the state. I'm going to have my badge on. I'm going to have my gun on my thigh, because I have a thigh holster. And I'm ring ding.
Right.
With my little vest on.
And scare that little 20-year-old. 2 drops of pee gonna come out that damn food.
You know it is.
I like that option.
It's the only option when it comes to me.
You can address the problem and eliminate the problem and still maintain the confidentiality. Now, if those parents find out later.
Well, guess what? Once again, I'm Stacy D. They not gonna. My brother and sister ain't gonna say nothing, because they already know. They better go on by their business. I ain't gotta tell you nothing. I handle it, because some of them's not built like me. So I already handle it. So why you playing? Leave me alone.
Right.
And they know the love I have, so they're not gonna come anyway, because they already know.
Yeah, leave the D alone.
She not gonna handle it.
Well, and for them, they can't get too upset, because if their communication was what it should be with their kid, then he wouldn't have come to Auntie.
It would have went to them.
Right. So you really can't get mad.
Because my children come to me. Sometimes I don't want to hear everything what they want to talk about.
It'd be a lot of information sometimes.
Sometimes I don't want it. But that line of communication is open. And like I said, I'm the no limit auntie. They all come to me. Some things I don't want to hear from them neither.
Right. Well, here are the options I came up with. You might want to explain to your nephew that there are limits to confidentiality when it comes to safety, which I already covered. The next thing is you might try to get him to disclose to the parents about the unhealthy relationship and offer to support him during that. And here's the reason why I said that, because in therapy is confidential. And a lot of times teenagers drop bombs, and therapists struggle with that, because like, okay, this is therapy, it's confidential, but the parents really need to know this. What you do, it is so, I'm sweating like,
I was scared.
I don't have heat flashes.
Thank you, Jesus.
You are not flashing. Your dog is sweating. The fur on the dog is wet. You shaking that camera too, D.
Sorry.
The fur.
I'm not flashing. Oh yes.
Fan that dog, because the dog's fur, her fur is wet.
Now you're getting 2 write-ups.
Because it's hot.
It's hot.
It's hot in the studio.
Hey, Michelle. 'Cause I know you're watching.
Your grandbaby ain't hot. And Mr. Walker, we the only 2 people who's hot. Well, we under the lights. We under the studio lights. Like, and them suckers put out heat. They didn't put out heat in the winter when we needed them to. It was so cold up in here. It was cold in the studio.
We can broadcast at home.
Okay, so
air conditioning in the summer, heat in the winter.
Yeah. That's wonderful.
Ooh,
okay, we're rolling. Okay, the microphone's not going to pick that up, is it? Okay, yeah, that's better. Okay. And so in therapy, that's what we do with kids, is we coach them along to get them to disclose the information to the parents, unless they have said that they are suicidal or homicidal. Then it's like, I can't take 2-3 sessions to get you to tell your people. We telling your people, I'm going out to the lobby to get your people right now. I thought this was confidential. It was till you said you was gonna kill yourself in 3 hours. It's no longer confidential. And so, you try to get him to disclose it, and then the parents need to address and eliminate the problem. And then the other option is you can possibly, this is a little shady. You could possibly disclose it to the parents, but ask them to figure out a way to find out on their own. Without disclosing that you told them. Because something that I hate is when people reveal their sources. I always have people who are like, well, so and so told me. It's like, when they told you that, they didn't expect you to go to the other person and tell them they told you that. And so now the person who's giving you information isn't going to give you information anymore because you immediately ran and confronted somebody, punched them in the face, and said, because so and so told me. And so what you would need to do is, what's she eating? What you would need to do is, because she can't have no candy, what you would need to tell the parents, listen, I'm going to tell you fools this. You better not say that I told it. You better not say I told it.
You don't need to tell them then. I'm a firm believer. If you don't want it out, then don't say it. Do not say it.
What skillful parents would do, if I was on the side of the parents, and let's say my sister came to me and said, listen, you ain't heard this from me, but I would take that information and be on the lookout so that I could catch my kid myself. Mm-hmm. They don't need to know that I got a heads up from my sister.
But you watch it.
But once you have the information, it's not hard to catch a kid. Like,
they're not that smart.
And so that's what
they're not.
Your grandbaby, she probably like, who's she talking about? She don't want to look over here and say that, but she's thinking, I don't know who she talking about.
She ain't paying attention. She probably got them Apple ear things in her ear.
Okay. So that's what you could do, is disclose it to the parents and say, look, I'm giving you a heads up, but you need to actually catch this situation. Don't just go say, Uncle JP said that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Okay. And what you would explain to them is, if you do that, the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to stop telling me things. And so then you really going to be on the outskirts, because I'm basically a source of information to you in a crisis situation. Don't jack that up by revealing that I told you this. But somebody molesting your kid, you might want to do something about it.
So you're not hotlining anybody?
If you are...
I'm hotlining somebody.
Even if you're not a mandated reporter, if you can get the name of the person
and the address, you
can do an anonymous hotline and not even tell your nephew that you did it. So then, because the nephew, if you let the nephew know that you hotline the grown man lover, when he gets rid of that one and gets another grown man lover, he ain't gonna tell you. You need to anonymously, without telling the nephew, hotline all his grown lovers, all the time,
and then figure out why is he dealing. Okay, that's a whole nother show. Why are you dealing with the grown men?
That is a whole nother show. And we have to be really careful how we address it, because we don't want to come across like we are saying any group of people are at greater potential for taking advantage or molesting kids. But something that does occur with teenagers who are going through the process of trying to figure out their sexual identity is that they will sometimes turn to older people for guidance in that, and those older people take advantage of them. This is not uncommon. I have had teenagers who, like, teachers have taken advantage of them.
That's why a lot of them are going to jail now.
Right. And so, what the kid is looking for is guidance and support, and, hey, you're older, help me through this. What the older person is looking for is, this person is young and vulnerable and naive, mm-hmm. and possibly a virgin, and they're taking advantage of the youth, the youthfulness of that child. And really, this isn't even a gay and lesbian thing, because I can remember in high school, I had some friends in high school who never would consider dating somebody in high school. They men was always grown, military men. I'm talking what?
They were the best. The military men were.
D, we talking about sexual exploitation of the kids.
Yeah, well, guess what? They did that to me.
And the D loved every minute of it. The D loved every minute of it. And so that is something we could do a whole show on. Parents, how to look out for your kids turning to older people to get their relationship needs met, emotional needs met, yada yada yada, because we do need to take a look at that.
Yes.
And when we do, we're going to look at it not just like, ooh, gay men are taking advantage of gay boys, or straight men are taking advantage of straight girls. It's a problem, period. So, all right, any other thoughts on this, D? No.
Let's go do a bonus segment.
Okay.
Ding, 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 ding. Here's our bonus segment for today.
We have options as far as the bonus segment is concerned. I have a what would you do? Some questions. What would you do? And then I have we tried it.
Well, we haven't tried anything.
I did.
You did? What did you try?
Yes. Okay. First, let's think if maybe we should do what would you do, because your responses are always interesting. Oh, okay. This is okay. We probably should do this because the we tried it. One of these days, a camera gonna fly the hell off that thing and land over there, and everybody gonna be like, "What happened?" The we tried it is Mariah Carey's book, and I was gonna talk about.
You already talked about that.
No, I said I was gonna talk about it, because I was gonna talk about two aspects of the book. I just mentioned it. We never really got to it, and I'm not totally prepared to cover that because I want to cover one of the gospel songs that she has put. Her gospel music is unbelievable. But okay, let's do a what would you do? Okay, Stacy D, you've started dating someone that is especially wonderful. You think that this person might just be the one. So one night, as things are about to go to that next level, they tell you that they must tell you something first.
Oh, now I got scared. What?
They have herpes. What would you do? Before you answer, y'all would not believe how often this comes up in therapy. This is actually a very common problem. And the problem with herpes is there's no actual, there's no cure for herpes.
No,
the person has flare. This isn't like chlamydia. If you're the one tells you, I got to tell you something, I got chlamydia, the D be like, go get that cleared up and come back here. I got something for you.
I don't know.
After it's cleared up.
JP, I
don't know. Would that scare you, D? The STD would scare you.
Yes, it did a little scary. Yeah. Now, go get it cleared up.
Oh my
but I don't know if you need to holler at the D, though. But most definitely go get it cleared up.
That is so funny. We done found
that was
something.
really, really funny.
We done found something that scares the D.
Well,
STD scares the D.
I'm way too old
You
to be
should
up
have
in the
saw your face when you said, "Oh,
oh no! Where are you going, Dream? Come back over here."
Dream sitting on my papers like, when is the show over?
Because Dream has a pamper on, you guys. Yeah,
Dream. Oh, okay. She spit it out.
I took it out.
She has some plastic in her mouth. Okay, so how would you handle this? Because if this, here's what I want you to think about. If this person is the one, that means that person, you're thinking about them being your forever love. The problem is the herpes is forever too.
Ever.
Ever. So, what would you do?
I used to be a sexual transmitted case manager. So, with the herpes, they're only transferable if
During
you have
a flare-up.
During a flare-up, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How often are the flare-ups?
It all depends. Sometimes they can be upset about things and get a flare-up, or just some people go years without a flare-up.
The D is moving in the direction of what my answer to this is. Work around them flare-ups.
Work around the flare-up.
Marry your baby and work around the
because they could have got
flare-ups.
the herpes when they were like
A teenager.
A teenager or something like that.
Yeah, they could have got it from their grown lover when they was a teenager.
Their grown lover. We done brought that into the new thing, didn't we? Yeah.
Yeah, to bridge that.
But yeah, the herpes. And then a lot of people that have herpes, they never have flare up because we all carry that virus in us. But there's different simplexes of it.
We all carry that in us, D.
Yeah, you got some herpes in you too.
You mean if we've had a cold sore?
Mr. Walker, you got some herpes in you too.
I'm not sure about that.
Google it.
If you have had a cold sore, you have some herpes in you. And people who get cold sores tend to get them like a lot, like in the winter. I have never had one.
I haven't never had a cold sore.
So I don't think I have my herpes yet.
I don't know. But it's all about, and it's in blood. You do blood work and they can find out about it. But it's certain blood work you have to get to see it.
Okay.
And I just know all this because I used to be a
STD case manager. Well, your answer...
AIDS case manager, all that together.
All of it. Wow. And here's the thing. People have a bigger reaction to herpes than they do to HIV and AIDS now because that's practically cured.
That's what they say. They look at magic.
Like, when you take your medication, it's not even, like, detectable. They can have all the unprotected sex they want to have. It's not detectable. And so people have become a lot less anxious about HIV and AIDS, but herpes still kind of creeps people out a little bit.
And it's been out there. And herpes has been out forever and ever. Ever.
Oh, yeah. Ever. You know, herpes go way back. And so when you think about herpes, crabs, chlamydia, when you think about all the STDs,
and it's quite a few of them.
Herpes is one that can be alarming, but the D is right. You can work around those flare-ups because
it's a workaround.
Because when you have met the one, I don't think you should be too quick to dismiss the one because, like, what if the one does not ever come by, and you end up living the rest of your life?
You don't get that many.
And then when you see that person later and they happily married, got 2-3 kids trailing behind them, you're going to be thinking, man, I'll let him go. And she obviously is working around them damn herpes.
A workaround.
A workaround the herpes. So I agree. You can't love overpowers something like that. And something else, I want to discourage people from being judgmental when it comes to this, because I like what Stacy D said. You have to remember, you don't know at what stage of life this person contracted that STD. That could be from a totally previous chapter of their life. They may not even be the person that they were when they contracted herpes, and who's to say that even then they were recklessly having sex?
Exactly.
Because
they could have been in
I have had clients who lost their virginity and gained the STD the same night. And I have had clients who have gained a lifelong STD when they lost their virginity, and which is so alarming. Like, I feel dirty. People gonna, everybody I date, I'm gonna have to tell them about this. They gonna think I'm some kind of hoe. I'm not a hoe. Like, I lost
Did
my
he
virginity.
just say hoe on the radio? Oh, let a hoe be a hoe.
I shouldn't have. I don't think we ever cleared up whether or not we're able to say that.
We got 2 minutes before we end.
We got to. Mr. Walker's like, it's already said now, so let's wrap this show up. And so that's my other point is please do not be judgmental of people because of STDs. Because who they are today with you could be someone totally different. Even if they tell you, look, I have a reckless past, because I have clients all the time that make the huge mistake of telling their partners, well, I kind of let it out that I had 73 partners. And then they wonder why they being looked at like they a hoe. After that is, well, yeah.
He just said the word again. He said a whore again.
I didn't say it again. Okay, so that is our show for today. That's our final thoughts. I don't have any other thoughts on that. Do you got any other thoughts on that?
Just let a hoe be a hoe.
Lord, it's like the podcast. This is like the podcast.
No, the podcast is like Cognitions, speaking of unspeakable with JP and Stacy D, because we were first.
We were first. But there is somebody on there who, Lord, that's what he would have said.
Which one?
Coleman. Yeah. All right. Thank you for joining us. And remember, worry about nothing.
And pray about everything 3 times a day and fast, and it will come.
Thank you, and God bless.
Bye-bye now. I didn't have to worry about straightening up.